Okay, good evening. Welcome to Glendale City Council meeting of September 8th, 2020. This meeting is called to order. Roll call is not necessary. If you'll take note, all members are present and accounted for. Next two items on the agenda is the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation tonight is going to be delivered by Pastor Dave Toom of the Bellevue Heights Church. Pastor Dave, if you'll come up, and then if you would, please stand. If you're wearing a hat, if it's appropriate, please remove it, and then remain standing after the invocation for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Gracious and loving Father, we give you thanks for the city of Glendale, the vibrancy and the resiliency of our people and businesses. Thank you for the unwavering commitment of those who lead us. We pray for your wisdom in all matters to be considered this evening. We pray for a spirit of collaboration, and we give thanks for outcomes that will benefit this city, bringing blessing to her people. Father, keep these, the leaders of our city and all who serve us well, keep them safe and close to you. And Father, we ask for victory over COVID-19. May it simply cease to be. And yes, Father, one more thing. Our country, our world is filled with challenges becoming opportunities for you to download your love and favor into. Please, Lord, may your kingdom of love and light dominate the hearts and minds of humanity with a wave of optimism and joy from your heart to our hearts, from your heart to each heart here tonight. We ask all of this in the name of the one who gives life and love and does so abundantly. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Everyone, please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone of the following. This meeting is televised live on the City of Glendale's Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as Glendale's own Channel 11. Our meetings are still currently located in the Glendale Civic Center. With the audience seated next door, we respectfully request that you wear a face mask or a face covering if you're unable to social distance. And for those of you in the audience seated next door, please be aware that you have a screen that allows you to see and hear what's occurring in this room, and also we have a screen that allows us to see you. With that said, if you wish to speak on any agenda, any item on the agenda, please complete a golden colored card, give it to our officer, and we'll make sure that that's given to the city clerk and then myself. If you submitted a speaker card and indicated that you wish to speak on an agenda item, I'll wait for you to make your way into this room and to the podium to speak. If we have multiple speakers, I'll announce you as being ready to go. We'll be allowing 3 minutes for each speaker tonight on all agenda items. Please keep in mind that the citizens' comment section is at the very end of each voting meeting. It is allowed, we do allow the public to speak about anything that's not on the agenda, and I do want to thank everyone for your patience. Next on the agenda is the consideration of the meetings from the August 25, 2020 voting meeting. Council members, do you have any corrections, additions to those minutes? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Yes, Mayor, I move approval of the minutes from the August 25th, 2020 voting meeting.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember O'Donnell to approve the minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. That motion does carry. Moving on to proclamations and awards. Tonight I'll be reading a proclamation to honor National Constitution Week. I'd like to invite Patty that's what I was going to say, McGuigan. I know I said that wrong. Say it one more time. Say it. McGuigan. Okay, perfect. She's from the chapter of the Anasazi chapter of the National Daughters of the American Revolution. And she has already moved her way up here, so let me put my mask on. Maintain our social distance in here. Okay, this proclamation, whereas at 1787 Constitutional Convention, delegates devised a plan for a stronger federal government with three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial, along with a system of checks and balances to ensure no single branch would have too much power. And whereas the Constitution was signed on September 17, 1787 by delegates of the Constitution Convention in Philadelphia, and whereas it's fitting and proper to read, study, and appreciate this great document of human liberty and to protect the freedoms set forth in the Bill of Rights, whereas it's fitting and proper to officially recognize this singular document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas September 17, 2020 marks the 233rd anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and now therefore, I, Jerry P. Wires, Mayor of the City of Glendale, Arizona, on behalf of our City Council, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd in honor of the drafting of the United States Constitution as Constitution Week. I urge all citizens to study the nation's Constitution and reflect on the privilege of us being American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege affords us. Signed by myself and our City Clerk, Ms. Bauer. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm sorry I butchered your name up. Okay, consent agenda and consent resolutions. We'll now move to our consent agenda, items 3 through 9. Items on the consent agenda are of routine nature or have been previously studied by the City Council at a workshop session. They are intended to be acted upon in one motion by this council. Ms. Bauer, would you read the consent resolutions, item 8 through 9?
Item 8, resolution number R 20-110, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the acceptance of the Arizona Supreme Court fiscal year 2021 Court Security Improvement Grant, GPT number 210747CS01, funding in the approximate amount of $20,000 on behalf of the City Court, and authorizing the expenditure of such funds for the purchase and installation of Kevlar protective barriers in the Glendale courtrooms. Item 9, resolution number R 20-111, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the entering into of an agreement with the State of Arizona, Office of the Attorney General, and authorizing the acceptance and expenditure of the fiscal year 2021 Victims' Rights Program Award, AG number 2021-044, in the approximate amount of $57,500 on behalf of the Glendale Police Department. That concludes the consent resolutions.
Thank you. I have no speaker cards.
No, sir.
Thank you. Council members, any items that you'd like to hear separately? Seeing none, we'll proceed on to the action items that remain on the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
motion to approve consent agenda items 3 through 7 and consent resolutions 8 through 9.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, second from Councilmember Tom Shaw to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. That motion is carried. Okay, bids and contracts.
Item 10, award of the invitation for bid 21-08 and authorization to enter into an agreement with FX Tactical LLC for police uniform and equipment for the Glendale Police Department.
Okay. We have a presentation? Do we need a presentation from the council?
No.
Okay, seeing none, no questions from the council, can I get a motion?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we award bid 21-08 and authorize the city manager to enter into the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Turner, second from Councilmember Tom Schaaf to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Uh,
Mayor.
Go ahead.
As is my habit and practice on 5-year contracts, I will be voting no on this item and the 2 subsequent items. In addition to them being 5-year contracts, these are for what I consider ordinary and not specialized services, and I feel like they should be bid more often. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no other discussion. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And the chair does vote aye. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 11?
Award RFP 20-35 and authorization to enter into an agreement with Public Trust Advisors LLC for investment advisory services.
Okay, we have a presentation. Any council members need a presentation? Seeing none. Can I get a motion to approve item 11?
Yes, Mayor, I move we approve item 11.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hughes, second from Councilmember Aldama to approve. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion does carry. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 12, please?
Authorization to enter into a linking agreement with Network Services Company for janitorial and sanitation supplies, equipment, and related services.
Any, no speaker cards? Can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move we approve the linking agreement with Network Services Company.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember Hugh. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Moving on to, oh, that does pass. Moving on to ordinances. Ms. Bauer, can you introduce item 13, ordinance number 020-63?
Ordinance number O-20-63, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of warranty deeds, easements, and maps of dedication at various locations throughout the city, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Principal Engineer Jamie Chapin.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is a request for City Council to waive reading beyond the title and adopt an ordinance accepting various real property interests throughout the city. These real property interests consist of rights-of-way for roadway and associated improvements and easements for water lines, sewer lines, sidewalks, and public utilities. With this ordinance, we have 8 items representing 7 private development projects, and staff recommends acceptance of the rights-of-way and easements so that the city can maintain, operate, repair, replace, and remove, if necessary, the associated infrastructure. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, can I get a motion on ordinance number 020-63, item number 13?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
motion to approve item number 13, ordinance number 020-63.
Second.
A motion from Councilmember Aldama, second Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 14, ordinance number 020-64?
Ordinance number O-20-64, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing designated officers to deposit and withdraw city funds from designated bank accounts, directing all banks with city accounts to recognize the signatures of said officers on electronic fund transfers, checks for deposit and/or withdrawal, and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is our Budget and Finance Director, Lisette Camacho.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This ordinance is to add Mr. Jack C. Friedline, Assistant City Manager, and Richard St. John, Deputy City Manager, as signers on the city's bank accounts. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from the council? Hearing none. Can I get a motion on ordinance 020-64, item number 14?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move we pass and adopt ordinance number O-20-64 and waive reading beyond the title.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Turner, second from Councilmember Clark to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Mr. Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to new business. Items listed on tonight's agenda. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 1.5, please?
Consideration and possible action regarding the appointment of the City of Glendale presiding judge.
Mayor, point of order, if I may.
Go ahead.
I'd ask that the council move to approve the direction that was provided by the council in this afternoon's executive session with regards to the presiding judge recruitment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, a second from Councilmember Clark. Any discussion? Hearing none. We don't need a roll call on this, just a voice vote. It's good enough. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. That does carry. Moving on to item 1.5, please.
1.6.
Resolution number R 20-112, a resolution of the council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a development agreement with ECL Glendale LLC.
Mayor, members of the council, I think in my first time in my 5 years, I've actually addressed you from the podium here tonight. And
I'm a little
I do so trying not to, sometimes we fall prey to hyperbole about something we're excited about. But I'll tell you what what we're going to be considering for your action tonight is probably for me one of the most exciting municipal development projects I've experienced in my 20-plus years in government. And so with that, I thought it'd be better if I could stand up here. Before we get too far along, while I'm making this presentation, it goes without saying that I want to make sure that the credit is given to our econ development team, including Brian Friedman, who really, from the very get-go, has been tremendous amount of energy and a tremendous amount of personal time put into helping to make sure this project moves forward. And then also, as we'll talk about here in a few minutes, with all the different development agreements, we couldn't have done this without the able assistance of our city attorney, Michael Bailey. We had to craft a whole series of agreements that were really kind of new from scratch, not a lot of boilerplate information. And so I personally want to extend my thanks to both Brian and to Michael. And so while I get the credit of giving the presentation, the credit for this project came together is very extensive. Tonight, we're going to talk about a project of Crystal Lagoons. And I'd like to go through kind of an overall aspect of this. There are 9 components to this. There is a retail component of almost 175,000 square feet of retail. Now, this will be destination retail. This is going to be experiential kinds of retail. There will also be 630 new hotel rooms through 3 new hotels that we built on site. It also will give us approximately 133,000 square feet of Class A office space. And I will tell you, when you see this Class A office space and all the things and all the amenities that the tenants and the workers of that office space will be able to experience, I believe it's going to be a very hot ticket for leasing up in the coming years. There's also going to be amusement rides. There's also going to be a family entertainment center. It's all built around an 11-acre Crystal Lagoon, which we'll go into more detail here shortly. There are both a fly and 4D theaters. There are numerous restaurants and bars, and we'll get a chance to talk about a couple unique ones here later on. And there's also going to be venue space. So it's those 9 components which make up this project. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the site itself. This is, if you can see here, this is the Cardinal Stadium, State Farm Stadium. And what I want to point out, this is the site here. At the lower section of the site, we actually have a hotel project, or excuse me, a multifamily project that just started, and that's through IDM out of the Portland area, and they're building a 345-unit, really top-flight multifamily project, and that's at the very southern section of this, and of course you can see the black lot, which resides here off to the east. This is kind of an aerial shot of the site plan itself. Just a couple things to kind of call out is one thing you'll know, there is a combination of parking both above ground and below ground, and on site there will be approximately 2,400 parking spaces constructed as part of this project. This is a little bit more at an angle, kind of gives you more of the different components of this. To point out a couple different things is you'll see here what will be billed as one of the largest helium balloons in the world that will tether up to almost 400 feet above ground that people can ride up to kind of get a view of the surrounding region. This right here is a very unique restaurant and bar from France. And what you'll be able to do here, you can't see it real closely, is you'll be able to get into a bar that actually takes you up almost 135 feet in the air, so you can enjoy your beverage as you take in the sights of Glendale and the Sports and Entertainment District. As you can see here, there are 3 hotels. This is one of them here. This is a second hotel, and this is the anchor hotel that we'll be making at the project. So let's talk about the why. Why is this an important thing? The one word, if I had to pick out one word, I would say is differentiate. Because what we want to do with our Sports and Entertainment District is we want it to be different than anything else that people have an option to see here, not only in Maricopa County, not only in the state of Arizona, but in the Southwest. And this project will give us a series of amenities unlike anything else that's ever been built in the region. And so we believe that will firmly cement Glendale and our Sports and Entertainment District as being by far the most preeminent, spectacular sports and entertainment district in the Southwest United States. There are a couple other things that I want to point out that are also benefits, and we have to pay attention to budgets. This will be a significant revenue generator of taxes for the city of Glendale. And that's important because they will go into our general fund, and it's our general fund that supports all of our core services like our police, our fire, our parks, our libraries. They all survive on general fund revenue. And this project is going to bring in significant revenue, which we'll talk about here with our economic study that was done for us, but that's one of the key components of this. It also, and this is really important, but it leverages the city's investment in the entertainment district. And when we say the city's investment, we're really talking it leverages our taxpayers that have invested in this area. And so one of the components is they will be needing to use a substantial amount of parking that currently we use for Sunday afternoon game times when there's a football season going on. And so this is going to take advantage of all the work that was put in place. Another key component is we believe this is going to establish us as a year-round destination. So we do incredibly well in the fall and the winter. We have the Coyotes, we have the Arizona Cardinals that are playing, a lot of events that take place at Westgate. But if you look at our hotel numbers, they tend to go down a little bit in the summertime when our weather gets a little bit hot. And one of the key things about this project is it's going to boost our summertime tourism. In fact, in talking to the developer, they believe the primary season of the busiest activity will take place starting in April and going up to the 1st of October. So this is going to give our hoteliers, our retailers, our restaurants in the area a huge shot in the arm as we now bring in people from around the region. The other thing that it does is it really sets us up for being the city of mega events. As you know, we've held the Super Bowl, we've held a Final Four, we have those events coming back, but really this is going to give us a level of amenities and development that for those who came here in 2015 to the Super Bowl, when they come back in 2023, they are not going to recognize a good portion of our sports and entertainment district, and this project will be really at the forefront of that. And there's always a benefit on jobs. This will create 1,800 new jobs just within the development itself, and then we'd still look for a component of our office space, and once we understand what kind of tenants are coming in there, that number likely could go higher as well. So let's talk about the economics just a little bit. There are some beneficiaries of this. So the first thing is our schools. Over the 25 years, the schools will anticipate receiving almost $90 million in tax revenue during that period of time. And then if you look at the county is about $60 million. And then Glendale, we will receive $240 million in revenue. So over the 25-year period, it totals almost $310 million in new taxes created for the city of Glendale. And so if you look at this on an average, the average over the 25 years is about $9.6 million per year. So a couple of things you can see broken down here is our first-year estimation, including sales tax for construction. We will receive $5.9 million. And then again, over the 25-year period, we estimate about $188 million in sales tax revenue, $13 million in property tax, and in total bed tax, about $38+ million. I want to turn it over now to our city attorney. There are a number of agreements that will help facilitate the development of the Crystal Lagoons. So with this, I'd like to ask our city attorney to walk you through the agreements that you will be anticipating to be taking action on both today and on September 22nd.
Thank you. Mayor and council, what you have before you tonight is 3 of the 5 agreements, as Mr. Phelps has said. The first is the kind of the overriding controlling document. That's the development agreement that the city will be entering into with ECL Glendale LLC. One unique element of this agreement that I want to bring to your attention is that there is no public expenditure of funds in this. So this is fairly unique when you're talking about a development agreement. There is no outlay. The city is not writing a check. The city is not doing anything in that regard. In fact, the primary incentive that exists that we'll speak to deals with a permit waiver, but understanding that the permit waiver doesn't even come into effect until they actually start building, so that we know that the construction's coming. So it's the agreements are very conditional upon performance by the developer. The second agreement that you're going to be seeing is a government property improvement lease with ECL Glendale LLC as well. And what you'll find in this kind of relationship is what's going to happen is that the developer is going to acquire the property, is going to build all the improvements, and is going to dedicate them to the city. Upon dedication to the city is going to lease them back. Noting that, once again, it's the obligation of the developer to acquire the property, it's the obligation of the developer to make all of the improvements, and then within the lease, it's the obligation of the developer to operate, maintain, improve, and handle all of the requirements of operating this type of facility. Noting that in that regard, we have had our risk department, risk management department, and our consultants with regard to risk management review the agreements and ensure that the indemnification and the insurance requirements are appropriate for such a endeavor. I think we go into greater detail in the next slide. I'm not going to do that. Let me move to the purchase and sale agreement. There's a purchase and sale agreement for 0.2942 acres of the city. As you may recall, that during the construction of 95th Avenue, there was the initial design to have a roundabout. The city did not construct the roundabout. We have a remnant parcel that exists. We will be selling that to the developer as part of this. Notably, that does contain a clawback agreement that in the event that they don't operate, they don't open within 3 years, the city can buy it back at cost. The same goes for the 4.154 acres, which is going to be an option agreement. The option agreement is attached to development on the primary project site of 48 acres. And again, that contains a clawback agreement that in the event that the project does not occur, that the city has the right to buy it back at cost. And then last but not least, there is the parking agreement with regards to the arrangements to utilize parking on the black lot, which again, that's scheduled to be heard on November 22nd, as is the property agreements. Noting that the property agreements we have posted at City Hall in accordance with city charter, city code, and it has been advertised in a newspaper. I believe it's the Glendale Star is our local newspaper where we advertise those. So I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Phelps. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's go into how this was put together and kind of the core. There are 4 core elements to to what we're offering from the city perspective. That is a fee waiver, a land sale, a GIPLET, and parking. So let me go into a little bit more detail of each of those 4 items. The first is we are going to waive up to $1 million in community development fees, which these are your plan review fees, your inspections, and then anything over the $1 million, they will pay the standard amount. Again, one of the questions we had, well, what if this doesn't happen? If for some reason, beyond people's control, the development never happened, obviously, we would not be out of pocket this, because this is only done as they progress through the development phase. Really critical, this does not include development impact fees. And we estimate the development impact fees, and these are fees that go towards transportation, to libraries, to parks, to be, and this is a rough estimate until we get everything put in place, but approximately $4.4 million in DIF fees that will be paid in. And these are the fees we use then to continue to add amenities for our citizens, to cover the cost of transportation, of what our water department has to do by bringing in fresh water supply, et cetera. And then we're also going to give them a customized plan review and permitting schedule. They are, they have an aggressive timeline for developing, and we're going to make sure we do our part within our planning department to kind of keep pace, not only with plan review, but then as the inspections come forward, to make sure that we're prompt on those areas. There's a couple of things here, then the purchase agreement, so the 29.29 acres, and this was a part of right-of-way in this area here. Originally, if you recall, this was the site where IKEA was envisioned to be going, and originally we were going to put a roundabout here to support the IKEA development. We're not doing a roundabout under the current plan, and so we are going to sell a sliver of land, 0.29 acres, and they are paying the market price. They're paying the same amount per square foot that they had purchased the other 48 acres on. The next part of this then is the 4.15 acres. This is this site right here. This was the site that we traded out under our settlement agreement with the Arizona Cardinals and ASDA as part of the agreement back in 2016. And so they now have a site up here, and we acquired this, which then allowed us to come in and build 95th Avenue. Now, part of the northern part of this, they're only buying 4.5 acres, which is really the southern section of this. This is storm retention here. So this is what we use currently to handle the runoff from 95th Avenue and from other things that we develop. So they only are purchasing this lower section down here. And again, the price they're paying us is $10 a square foot, or approximately $1.8 million. Now I'm going to turn it back over to our city attorney. He's going to walk you through the general purpose local excise tax that we're going to be setting up for them.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. With regards to the GIPLET, is what it's called throughout the state, we will be entering into a lease that provides 25 years of an exemption of lease excise tax for recreation and entertainment uses only. It's notable in the agreement that it provides, well, statutorily, it only applies to amusements and related retail and restaurant concessions, but uniquely in this agreement, it is the obligation of the developer to ensure that they meet the statutory requirements. The city is not under an obligation to do so, but the developer is under that obligation to do so. In this kind of context, what happens is the government, the city, will take ownership of the land so that it is exempt from property tax, and then we will lease it back, and then the lease excise tax is paid instead of the property tax. The agreement is for 25 years. There is no renewal period, and the building, including all the improvements, revert back to private ownership at the end of 25 years. With that, I'll turn it back to Mr. Phelps.
Great. The fourth item then that was asked of the city was for parking. And parking is always a critical element to these kinds of attraction-based venues, because they bring in thousands of people that come in, and you need a place to be able to park them. And so what this does, it utilizes a portion of what we call the black lot. This is part of the 4,000 parking spaces that we constructed in 2016 as part of our agreement with the Arizona Cardinals and ASDA, which owns State Farm Stadium. And one of the things that it's subject to is the use of the parking is consistent with the restrictions that are on that parking, meaning that the overflow parking cannot be located on there on NFL game day, on any other kind of Cardinal sanctioned event, of mega event, which would be 40,000 or more people attending. Then they're not able to use this parking. But otherwise, outside of those typically 12 to 15 event days out of the year, we then make the 2,600 parking spaces available to support the lagoon. And so this is a great leverage of existing investment by the city of Glendale. It requires, however, the developer now to then do the O&M on the parking lot. So they'll be going in, and our parking lots need to be striped every 3 or 4 years. There could be damage done to potholes or whatever. They will do the maintaining of it. They'll provide security. They'll provide trash pickup and cleaning on a regular basis, and they take that responsibility on as part of the agreement. One of the interesting parts too, we wanted to make sure that the council had a full range of options as it relates going into the future over the Black Lot. If you recall, the Black Lot is really, it's right on Cardinals Way. It's a quarter mile off of the Loop 101. It is a tremendous site from a development perspective. However, we have to provide 4,000 in parking spaces as part of that. But what we wanted to make sure was, looking into the future, there may be opportunities for the city of Glendale to work on redevelopment of that site. And if that's the case, then we would need to be able to work and do the construction, and that would conflict with the 2,600 parking spaces. So one of the things we have in the agreement is that the developer has agreed to for up to 2 years, to take the 2,600 parking spaces and place them elsewhere within the area. Now, this takes tremendous cooperation for this to happen. And I just want to publicly kind of acknowledge ASDA and the Arizona Cardinals and their owner, Michael Bidwell, who has been working really diligently with the developer to help come up with a solution. And so what will be coming back on September 22nd will be a parking agreement where the Bidwells and the Cardinals will be allowing the use of the orange lot, which is immediately north of the Epic Lagoon site, where they can use the 2,700 parking spaces for up to 2 years if we're going to be doing redevelopment back on the Black Lot. And so again, it's really important to have partnerships, and this is a great example of where the Cardinals have said, yes, we want to make sure this project goes forward. We'll work out an arrangement to use our parking lot during that 2-year construction. And so the parking was a huge component of this. To build vertical parking structures can be expensive, and this really allowed us to come in, as I said earlier, leverage our existing investment in parking for the area. I want to talk a little bit about now just the Westgate Entertainment in general, and I'm going to, they don't all show up onto here, but I want to kind of walk you through things that are happening here when I say that when people come back in for the 2023 Super Bowl, they're going to see a totally different entertainment district. This is the Zanjero area on this side here, and currently we have a hotel just opened up, which is the Marriott Suites, the Marriott Town Suites, and they build a total of 92 rooms. They're all suites. That just opened up. And then right next door, we just got an announcement that there will be another hotel of 137 rooms called the Cambria at Zanjero, and they'll be breaking ground. And so that's both down in this area here. We also, you can see here, this is the Aloft Hotel, which opened a little over a year ago. And the Aloft Hotel has right at about 100 rooms that are there. Over here, we're adding the True by Hilton. It's about 90% complete and will be opening later this year. And the True by Hilton is another 114 rooms. And then what you can't see on the other side of 101, the new full-service Holiday Inn is scheduled to be open early next year, and they're also at 114 rooms. So when you look at the total rooms that's currently either has opened or will be opening, and you add it to the 630 rooms that is part of this project, which is right situated here, we will be adding in a total of 1,187 new hotel rooms. Now, to give you perspective, we currently had, if you take those projects off the table, we currently have 1,154 hotel rooms within the Sports Entertainment District. So we are doubling the amount of rooms between the 2015 Super Bowl and the 2023 Super Bowl that's coming to town. And so this really adds in for success for our restaurants, for all of our venues, for our retailers that are there as we bring more and more guests that come into this area. So again, you're going to see, I think, a lot of difference. I know that Westgate, right now, this entire site is under development, and I was just met with the developer, the owner of the center. There are people talking about they've got some really exciting projects coming out here in the Y lot. So it's just transforming in front of our eyes, and I believe the Lagoon project is going to be really one of those things that are just going to anchor our entertainment district. So a couple other things, just as we kind of pursue creating the best sports entertainment district in the Southwest, is that, again, it maximizes our opportunities for commercial development. It is a one-of-a-kind, destination-based experiential retail. Now, one thing that you have to understand is that, or you don't have to understand, but I'd like you to understand, is that over the last 10 years, traditional retail brick and mortar has been on rapid decline across the country. You only have to see the stress that's being put on many of our shopping centers and power centers to know that traditional brick and mortar retail is being pressured like at no time in its history. Obviously, online purchasing and other options to acquiring services is impacting that. There is one area, however, that has grown each of the last 10 years on the brick and mortar retail, and that's experiential retail. And so this investment is really playing right into the core of that experiential retail. It combines the purchasing of goods and services with also an element of excitement and an element of fun. You know, the office development is critical for us. We've talked about this a lot. It's the one area where we've done really well in Glendale, in that we're about 97 to 98% occupied on our Class A office space, but we need developers to build additional space. And so that 140,000 square feet, 133,000 square feet of office space is going to come at a really critically important time. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about what you've done to help make this happen, because this would not have happened without the City Council. And it really started back when I first arrived to Glendale in 2016. First, this council approved the expansion of 95th Avenue from Cardinals Way, what at that time was Bethany Home Road, down to Camelback Road. And that was a critical part of this element, because for the first time, it has opened the development along between the Loop 101 and 95th. It's really opened it up for prime development. Since that time, you fast forward to 2023, we will see the Lagoon project, the multifamily project that I mentioned to you of 345 units, right across the street in Urban 95. We just approved their street grid for their entire site, and they're getting ready to build a very significant mixed-use development, and then you'll have Walmart. So we will be totally filled up from Cardinals Way to Camelback Road. When I got here, we only had one store, which was Walmart. And so it started because the council authorized the expenditure of funds to be able to build 95th Avenue. The second thing was critical to this was really getting the settlement done with the Arizona Cardinals and ASDA, so that we could build the 4,000 parking spaces, but more importantly, that when they weren't using them, that we had access to them as a city. And again, had we not had the 2,600 spaces across the street from this site would not have been probably workable for the developer. So it really starts off with some of the actions the council has taken early on during my time here. But it also, again, as I've repeated a couple different times, but it does leverage your investment, and it's a tremendous return on investment. Our city attorney mentioned that we're not writing a check out to get this development. What we're doing is providing access to some of our resources, whether it be our parking area, whether it be our permitting department, our engineering, our building inspection, building safety. We already have those in place. And so when you look at the ROI of increasing our annual revenue to the general fund by $9.6 million on average for 25 years. This is one of the, I think will go down as really as a tremendous model for how to put together a mixed-use partnership with the development community. So just a couple key things as before we turn it over to the next phase of the presentation is we're working towards getting construction trailers permitted and sited, and their hope is that they will be able to be under construction before the end of the year, sometime in late fourth quarter. The goal is, and within the development agreement, is the project is to be completed by October of '22. That gives them 3 to 4 months of operational before the whole world pays attention to Glendale in February of 2023. The other thing that's really important here is because of the way the Crystal Lagoon is integrated into the development, is it will be built in a single phase. So everything will happen all at one time, so it's not a series of things spread out over 5 to 10 years. They will be under full site construction, and then when they really cut the ribbon in October of 2022, it should be substantially completed in terms of what they've shown us. I'd like at this point now to introduce someone that I'd like to talk about the lagoon itself, because this is a critical component of this. And so I'd like to bring up Eric Cherie. I'm going to get this right, so hold on a second. Eric Characia. Did I get that right, Eric? Close enough. And he's going to run you through a little bit about the lagoon itself. Eric?
Well, thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Council. Very excited to be here. Wanted to just give you guys kind of a little history of Crystal Lagoons as a company, and then talk through, what we're trying to do and bring the next wave of entertainment destination to Glendale. But just a little story of Crystal Lagoons. Really, we started down in Santiago, Chile. The founder of our company, Fernando Fishman, real estate developer and scientist, he had a vision for a community. It's called Algarrobo, Chile. It's about an hour right on the coast of Santiago. And it was just a small fishing community. So the water there, it's right on the coast, but you can't swim there. It's very cold, and there's tons of rip currents, so there's no way to swim. So he wanted to bring this beach-type resort environment. So what he ended up doing was initiating a project, residential community called San Alfonso del Mar. And the idea of the anchor of this community was that he wanted to build this massive swimmable lagoon. So he contracted several manufacturers, GE, among others, to supply the water treatment technology. So he proceeded with the project. Here you can see from the photos, this is the construction project. You see the coast of Chile there. Originally 10 acres of water, and then he had about 600 residential units. So it was all constructed. About a month after the project was completed, this crystal clear turquoise lagoon turned murky, and now he had a completely stranded asset. So he started to contact various filtration manufacturers, different technologies, and no one could come and solve this issue. So with his R&D team, he ended up, out of really necessity, looking at a particular solution to take this 10-acre body of water that was completely stranded. So what then happened was he found there was no technology in the world that could accomplish creating and filtering a crystal clear body of water of this size. In this particular development, it was 6,000 pools in volume. So he implemented the technology, and here's what you see today. This is San Alfonso del Mar. It actually was doubled in size because it was very successful. So now, upon build-out, we've got 20 acres of crystal clear water, which is an extremely successful development there for this community. So it worked well. Ended up doing it again in the same community, and now today there's actually 3 lagoons in second and third tier locations within this community. So from there, he had numerous other developers got word of this. It actually won a Guinness World Record for world largest swimming pool. Came in and said, hey, we really want to license this technology. So that was really where in 2009, Crystal Lagoons as the technology company was founded. So you might ask, how does it work? So we're pleased to present a sustainable technology. When you look at, a little frozen here. So when you look at treating water, Really, there's two ways that you can accomplish this. You need disinfection and you need filtration. So from a disinfection standpoint, we use 100 times less chemicals than a traditional swimming pool. Swimming pools maintain a constant chlorine residual. What we do, we have a smart technology that really has sensors around the lagoon that disinfects and provides your pulses of your disinfection as it's needed. So from a filtration standpoint, we have a low-cost filtration system compared to a traditional swimming pool. We use 50 times less energy. So you see these ultrasonic waves in the graphics here. Basically, you're disinfecting all of the particles. You're causing them to get bigger, stick together, settle the ground, and then we filter the bottom of the pool instead of the entire volume of the technology. So, all that to say, really what this ends up happening is a completely environmentally sustainable and friendly technology. Uses 100 times less chemicals, 50 times less energy. We 24/7 monitor through a telemetry system all of the parameters of the water. And then you can see here, even in Glendale in particular, evaporation could be an issue. We have a film that was designed that's induced into the water that reduces evaporation by up to 50%. So that will be employed here in Glendale. Furthering on, environmental friendly, the lagoons are filled once, so they're completely closed loop system, so you're not wasting any water. It's 100% closed loop. The only water that you do lose is through evaporation. As I mentioned, we mitigate those methods through our film. We're accumulating any rainwater that does fall, and it's a much more concentrated area compared to green areas for activities. So as Crystal Lagoons as the company, we expanded across South America and then across the world. You can see here, these are some of our, let's say landmark projects across Chile, Uruguay, Argentina, very large 27-acre project down bottom left, that's in Egypt, and then some projects in Dubai and even South Africa. So we've expanded, we've been tested across the world, and then I'm going to present here as a company, we consider ourselves the world's top amenity, heavily patented, protected as an IP company, and we do continue to invest heavily into continuing into research and development. We've got 5 offices across the world. Our actual world headquarters is in Miami, Florida, which is where I'm based out of. So I just want to highlight a couple key U.S. projects here. The video I'm showing, this is Epperson. This is our first lagoon in the United States. So this was in 2018. This is real drone footage. This is an 8-acre project in a master plan community. So what we'll start to see here, kind of the theme of Crystal Lagoons in the United States, we've consistently started in just residential master plan communities traditionally, and what we're doing here in Glendale is really our first high-intensity experiential destination. So really excited about that. So moving on here, this is Balmoral. This is a small project in Houston, 2-acre project with the largest master plan community developer in Texas. Very successful here again in a master plan community. Here's some images of the project. And then that same developer initiated this project, just opened this summer. This is called Lago Mar. This is a much larger project, so compared to the other project, this is 12 acres, which is similar in size and scale to what we'll be doing here at Glendale. So really what I wanted to present now is really the focus of what we're doing in Glendale is truly unique. As Kevin said, this is the first time and the only that will be done in the United States. This is our first branded Crystal Lagoon Island Resort destination using our patented public access lagoon business model. So there's a really good video I want to present here to kind of highlight what is the public access lagoon concept. So with that.
We live our lives in 3 distinct places: home, work, and everywhere else. We need this third place to relax and connect. In recent decades, shopping centers have filled this role, but the world around us has evolved. Experiences are worth more to us than things. We want a different place, somewhere with fresh air, sunlight, and nature. And what public space exists today where we can dine, shop, and spend time with our friends and family in a beautiful and natural environment? None until now. Welcome to Public Access Lagoons by Crystal Lagoons, where you will no longer have to travel far to feel a world away. You could be lying in a tropical white sand beach beside turquoise waters, just moments from your front door. With the addition of an innovative public access lagoon, a property can be customized and transformed into a hub of activity appealing to everyone. Imagine starting your day with yoga by the water, then wearing out the kids as they swim and splash as you shop along the waterfront. After work, you'll be jogging around the eco-friendly lagoon and wrapping up the day with a cocktail as the sun sets on the water. Once the weekend comes, you will be dancing to your favorite DJ, shopping the farmer's market, or catching a show on the terrace before a relaxing beachside meal. This community water site is the meeting point of the 21st century, where people will come together to celebrate holidays, weddings, and every day. And all of this fun isn't dependent on the whim of the weather. Here, you can enjoy the idyllic beach lifestyle all year round. And a lagoon around existing retail developments can rejuvenate the area into a full lifestyle center, providing the outdoor waterfront environment that consumers are seeking. A municipality can gain their very own sustainable it factor that improves the community's quality of life and increases the value of its surroundings. A golf course can become the city's gathering place with the addition of a ticketed lagoon, creating a family-centric amenity. A public access lagoon can transform almost any site, including race courses, stadiums, theme parks, universities, and vacant land, to generate unprecedented profits through ticket revenues and income from the lagoon. The lagoon is not a water park or pool. It is an ecosystem. It is an opportunity to create a new area of business never thought possible by creating an experience, a unique sense of place. This is not the future. This is the present with Public Access Lagoons by Crystal Lagoons.
All right. And with that, very excited to bring beach life to the desert, Crystal Lagoons Island Resort, the next wave in family entertainment. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Thanks, Eric. So let's just talk about a couple things that are going to happen next. Assuming that we go forward and the council sees fit to approve the agreements that are there, one of the challenges that we had today, and this was a challenge as we've been, the media has been reaching out to us, is we're only able to talk about a little bit of this. Now, the lagoon's a big part of it, but there are a couple components that we think are going to make up this as a resort property that we won't be able to talk about tonight, but we expect to be able to talk about in sometime in October. And so what you're going to see is a series of announcements over the next 6 to 12 months of different elements being integrated into this. The developers have left no stone unturned in terms of looking at what this can be. We really do believe it'll be a model for how you can do experiential retail, combining it with the water technology of Crystal Lagoons, and we're going to get a head start on everybody else. So do expect additional announcements coming forward. What I can say is, without sharing too much, is that I know one of the hotel projects that we're going to be talking about is in my 25 plus years in the hospitality industry before I became a bureaucrat, probably the most exciting hotel concept that I've ever heard during my lifetime. And then we have a huge experiential retail family center that's going to be coming in at the south end that is just over the top exciting. So this project is, I hope you'll find the same level of enthusiasm. And at this time, the three of us are all here to be able to answer any questions you might have.
I'm going to make a statement, then I'm going to ask council if they have any questions. The first thing I was thinking of looking at the Crystal Lagoons Island Resort is, I guess the motto could very simply be no passport required. And that's exciting because for us to go anywhere anymore, it seems like we're either going to California or Rocky Point or one of the islands or further south. So this is really exciting. We can stay in our city limits and get the same enjoyment and not have to miss any work, unfortunately.
Right.
Questions from the council? Go ahead.
Like you, Mayor, I would like to make a few comments since it's in my district. Eric, thank you. I'm so glad you're coming. Mr. Phelps told me about this project, almost a year ago now.
Year and a half.
Yeah. And I've spent a year nagging him, when can we announce it? So I am just so excited that we can make the formal announcement tonight that you're coming. But I not just want to thank you, but I want to publicly and personally thank Kevin Phelps, and not just Kevin, but the whole team that you assembled, and you mentioned some of them. Economic Development and Brian Friedman. How about the Planning Department and Lisa Collins? Finance under Vicki and Lizette. Our city attorney, Michael Bailey, and probably also Michael Bidwell from the Cardinals, because he unknowingly is an integral part of this solution as well. This is a fantastic team that was assembled, but Kevin, I mean this when I say this, I don't think anybody else could have pulled it off. I really don't think so. And the past couple of weekends when you've expressed some concern, I spent sleepless nights, and I shouldn't have, because I knew that you would make it all happen. So I can't thank you enough publicly for what I think is a blockbuster project that is going to put Glendale on the map, not just in the valley, but in the Southwest. We had talked about some kind of resort project in that area, I remember several years ago. Little did I imagine that you would make it happen. So again, my thanks to you and to your team and Eric for your vision and willingness to locate in Glendale. Thank you both very much.
And Councilman Clark, thank you for your kind comments. And I'd like to call out really our water services team as well. Obviously, water is a big part of this, and they did just a great amount of work of looking at everything from supply and how we can make sure we get ample water to there. And so Craig and his team were very instrumental in this as well.
Well, my bad for not including them. I'm sorry, Craig Johnson. You are an integral part of this project as well.
I might bring up one other thought that I had. You were talking about a heavy usage from April through October 1. You haven't seen our Canadian visitors down here in January. They'll be swimming.
Oh, I bet.
I guarantee you they'll be swimming. So I'm excited about it. I think this is going to be pretty awesome. Any other comments?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just a couple comments. Eric, personally, you brought something to my wife and I that, man, I'll tell you what, it's really a dream come true. My colleagues here know that I don't fly. I just don't like flying, but I'd love to go to Hawaii. And I don't think I'm ever going to see Hawaii, but I'm going to see Crystal Lagoons. That's my Hawaii.
Absolutely.
So, Eric, thank you so much. My wife and I can't wait to go to our Hawaii. But did you say, was it your grandfather that started the Del Mar?
No, the founder of our company.
Oh, the founder, okay.
Yes.
Okay, just great, and I like what they said in, the person that said in the video, this isn't the future, this is now.
No.
That's incredible. You know, we spent a little bit of time earlier this afternoon in a workshop talking about establishing downtown Glendale as a place of interest, and so knowing when you arrived, Crystal Lagoons, you know you arrived at Glendale when you get to Crystal Lagoons, so this is huge. Thank you so much for thinking of Glendale. And again, as the council member mentioned, to all of our staff inclusive, thank you so much for working that hard on this big of a project for Glendale. Our citizens are going to love this. It's great, and it's going to make the West Valley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments before we get a motion?
Mayor.
Good.
Mr. Phelps was generous in complimenting this council for the decisions that we've made, 85th Avenue, the Cardinals parking agreement, our willingness to purchase that large, what we call the black lot now, from the Pendergast family when it was available. But really, we need to give thought and credit to the councils that came before us that really took the risk to establish an entertainment district in Glendale with the investments into Westgate, the hockey arena, bringing the football stadium to the West Valley, and yes, I suppose even Camelback Ranch, that the effort that they put in to, and the vision that they had, the risk that they took to create something that we'd never thought possible for Glendale, an entertainment destination of this level. We'd be remiss if we didn't give them a significant portion of the credit for what's bringing us to this day. And of course, the proof will be in the pudding, and we're all anxious to see it happen. I appreciate the way in which these agreements are structured with minimal risk to the citizens of Glendale. It really is a payback on the investment that Glendale citizens as taxpayers have put into that whole area so far. And this is what those that came before us had envisioned, even though they may not have known it specifically. This is definitely within the realm of what they had imagined. So I'm a little anxious. It's a big undertaking, and you know, to put ourselves forward to. But I have confidence in our staff, from management through our legal department, through our water services, and all of the others that we've been protecting ourselves along the way for this. And I wish nothing but the best and as soon as possible. So thank you.
Mayor?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say welcome to Glendale, first of all. We're very pleased to have you. And I have every confidence in the ability of our staff to be able to deliver this project on time. And not to mention, there's a definitive timeline. I imagine you'd like to be open in time for the 2023 Super Bowl. So I don't see any problem in being able to deliver this project by fall of 2022. So thank you for choosing Glendale. You've been working with our staff all along. They are excellent. They understand the value of time. And I can't wait. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hugh. Thank you, Mayor. I echo what Councilmember said, and Councilmember Clark, yes, we do have the best city manager, and we know it. Councilmember Aldama, I've been to Hawaii several times, no longer. I'm with you.
Sure,
It's
you
a
got it,
lagoon.
man.
No reason to go back, it's better.
You're my
Right
flying
here,
buddy, right
right here in
there.
our hometown.
My truck.
Councilmember Milner.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'd like to welcome Crystal Lagoon to Glendale. This is a great opportunity for our city, and we appreciate you looking at us. And Kevin, for all the hard work that you put in to make this happen, I thank you and the staff for making it happen. I'm really looking forward to an absolutely phenomenal facility here. Thank you.
Well, I still may go to Hawaii because I caught a big marlin there, and I don't think you guys are going to have marlin in the Crystal Lagoon.
We'll put one in for you.
Okay. Can I get a motion on item 16, please?
Mayor.
Mr. Aldama.
Thank you, Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to ask for a motion to approve number 17, resolution number.
No, we're on 16.
Oh, number 16. Oh, I'm sorry.
On six.
That's why I
It's
was.
your honor.
Or
Yeah, I was wondering why.
Yeah, I was
don't know why
getting
had
a little
such an
nervous
Honor
there.
to give it to me. Sorry, Miss
Yes.
Clark. Go for it.
Mayor, it is with a great deal of pleasure and pride that I would like to read the entire resolution into the record. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a development agreement with ECL Glendale LLC, resolution number R20-112.
Second.
Okay, I was waiting for that second.
Did you?
Getting me nervous there. Okay, we got a motion from Councilmember Clark, second from Councilmember Tomachoff to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Eldama. How do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you
Aye.
vote? Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do
Aye.
you vote? Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I'm going to explain my vote. I couldn't be more excited. I think what's so really cool about this is all the things that people don't know that you're going to be announcing in the near future, which is really going to blow some people's minds, and I'm really pumped about that. And then finally, Kevin, really, really glad you're with us. You know, I see you in our future for a long time. I'm really glad you're here. Thank you. With that, I vote aye. Ms. Bauer, introduce item 17, resolution R20-113, please.
Resolution number R 20-113, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a government property improvement lease with ECL Glendale LLC.
Mayor?
I didn't know if Mr. Phelps wanted to do any presentation here at all. No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we covered it.
So if we have no questions, can we get a motion?
Mayor?
Go ahead.
Motion to approve item number 17, resolution number R20-113.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, second from Councilmember Clark to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 18, Resolution R2114?
Resolution number R 20-114, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a government property improvement lease hotel with ECL Glendale LLC.
Nothing?
We've already presented on this.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion for item number 18,
Yes, Mayor.
R2114?
I move we pass resolution number R20-114.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Clark, second from Councilmember Aldama to approve the recommended action. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Request for future workshop and exec session.
Mayor, I move that we hold the next regularly scheduled city council workshop on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020 at 12:30 PM in the Civic Center, 5750 West Glen Drive, to be followed by an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03.
Second.
Okay, a motion from the Vice Mayor, second from Councilmember Tomachoff. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Council comments and suggestions, we'll now do that. Councilmember Aldama.
Yeah, Mayor, just want to announce the annual Teddy Bear Day in downtown Glendale, specifically Catlin Court, this Saturday, Saturday, September 16th. Please come and join Bears and Moores and other retailers out there and come visit downtown Glendale. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Clark.
Mayor, if anyone finds a gold earring,
There's a $1 million reward.
fake gold earring worth about $20, please return it to me, thank you.
You're still going to do the $1 million reward, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just go buy new ones, right? Councilmember Hugh.
I'll get it back to you right
Nothing,
away.
Mayor.
Councilmember Tomachoff.
I just want to, again, thank staff, and I hope they know how much we all appreciate all of the work they do on behalf of the city of Glendale. And Kevin, thank you. I know we don't always see eye to eye, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you, and I know how hard you worked on this, so thank you.
Councilmember Turner.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, and I have nothing, so moving on, or the next agenda is the citizens' comments.
Sorry, I made a mistake on the date, if you allow me to make the correction.
No, you done blew it. It's over.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it. The Teddy Bear Day in Catlin Court is this Saturday. It's the 16th annual from 10 to 4 p.m. in Catlin Court. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we'll just take one away next time. Okay, citizens' comments. Council makes this opportunity available. We have one speaker card, Kathy Wheeler. Here you are. You have 3 minutes. If you would, when you get to the microphone, state your name, the district you live in. If it's not the city of Glendale, the city. And you'll have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Kathy Wheeler, Barrow District, 5335 West Purdue, Glendale. Council, Mayor, City Manager, I'm here to talk about Glen Lakes and your plans to put 173 houses built on Glen Lakes Golf Course. And I'm asking you this question, and when I ask you this question, I want you to really think about it over the next few weeks. What would you do if this was your neighborhood that was going to be taken away from you and you've lived there for 40 years to build 173 new houses in there, which Glendale residents don't want? Glendale Golf Course became a municipal and neglected area. In spite of this, this neighborhood still is blight-free and homeless-free. Many of the residents have lived here for over 40 years. Very few, if Glendale residents, support the development of the Glen Lakes parcel. Glen Lakes is not currently an eyesore dirt lot waiting to fulfill its potential. It's a beautiful habitat of grass, trees, and wildlife that is an integral part of the Beryl District and Glendale itself. To fill in the open spaces, Glen Lakes, excuse me, for it to become anything other than public use open space is a betrayal to the residents past, present, and those city councils and the community itself. Those property owners have invested their lives and finances to live in the shadow of 50-year-old trees. We hope that you will consider the entire parcel of Glen Lakes be kept under the designation of landfill of land used distinctly for parks and open spaces. Please disapprove MGPA 20-01 and Zone ZON 1817 and preserve the open space of Glen Lakes Golf Course. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there being no further business before the council tonight, I'd like to thank everyone for attending. With no objection from this council, we're adjourned.